Welcome everyone, and welcome to our Leaderonomics special. And for the last, we've had 5 episodes so far. Hi, I'm Roshan Thiran, and at the end of the day, this series is essentially meant to help us understand what Leaderonomics is, and to enable us to be able to understand the Leaderonomics ecosystem, the Leaderonomics product services, and so on and so forth. One of the interesting things about Leaderonomics is we're at a point where we're growing and scaling our business. And to scale our business, we want to invite as many of you to become part of our family. So we have just launched our Series A with a Singapore investment company called Funnel, and we launched a friends and family round before we do the VC round, which is with people like you, who are part of our ecosystem to invest in us. So there's a link down there, tinyurl.com, LDR Funnel, and we will share a little bit more at the end of the show on how you can be part of the Leaderonomics family. But today, the show is dedicated to trying to understand our Leaderonomics ecosystem and the kind of crazy stuff that the Leaderonomics ecosystem has built. And one of the things I want to share very briefly is that we have actually looked at our ecosystem in a number of ways. We actually look at people from a very young age, and we call that the science of building leaders, where we look at content, we look at interactions, and we look at infrastructure. And we sort of say, how do we enable an ecosystem that encompasses all 3 areas? Whether it's the community work, whether it's the map movement, which is the community work that we do, or whether it's the corporate work, or whether it's the digital infrastructure that we embed. But another big ecosystem we have is the alumni ecosystem. And these are people who were part of the Leaderonomics family at one point in time. And we'll also talk to some that have come back, right? So we have others that have left to find purpose, and then they've come back to find love, I think. And we'll talk to the love guru in a bit. But I would like to bring Jermaine. Jermaine is in a car in the middle of I don't know where. But yes. Jermaine, welcome to our show. And Jermaine, you were part of the Leaderonomics family in 2012, 11?
2012, 11, yes, around then.
Till about 2015,
about 3.5 years, 4 years, yeah.
3.5 years, right? And Ho Chi says hi to you. I don't know whether you know him, but hi with a funny face. So either he's putting a funny face to you or to me. But either way, funny face away. So guys, feel free to write your comments and put them on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. We'll be happy. So Jermaine, tell us a bit about your Leaderonomics experience. You were in Leaderonomics for 3.5 years or so, and you started out as an entry-level person, and I hear some of your kids in the background. So it's okay, because in Lyramix, it's all about family. And, we have this saying, once a Leaderonomer, always a Leaderonomer, right?
Yes.
So Jeremy is always, even though she's left us for about 6 years, she still comes and visits our office, right? And we see everyone who's a Leaderonomer come back to our office on and off. So Jeremy, tell us about your story in Leaderonomics very quickly.
Okay, I was previously hired by you, yes, Roshan, thank you. Joined the team, was really a small outfit then. I then helped out with growing the learning team. I hope that was true. We kind of basically go around meeting clients and helping them to work on proposals and to see what works well for the company. It was where I really learned a lot about leadership, I would say. So the whole thing is all about leadership, right? We work on leadership decks, we work on leadership proposals, work on leadership, just basically training people to become better leaders. And the greatest takeaway that I've had from, just being part of Leaderonomics is, I remember what you said, Roshan, is always in my head, that learning is painful and it's constant. So it's something that I'm also learning, and it's something that I'm also adapting up to today. I've got 3 kids now. I run my own business, and it's painful. It's changing all the time. But every time when I feel like it's painful, then I know I'm learning. So that's like the greatest takeaway that I've gotten from you.
You are a sucker for pain because you have 3 kids. But I'll leave that for another time. Tell us a bit about your most painful experience at Leaderonomics.
The most painful, maybe it was when I was forced to do pranks at the curve and all that. But at the curve. But apart from all the pranks and all the fun that we have, which can be painful at times, I would say the painful part would be to just doing everything from scratch. Because I think the beauty about empowerment is that we get to do everything. You have a lot of faith in us, Roshan, so that's amazing. But the painful bit is also about trying to figure things out on our own. Trying to just bang the walls and hit our heads everywhere at every corners. And then really figuring out at the end of the day, how do we go about doing some of those things. I would say that they're painful, but they're things that I actually enjoy. Sorry. So the things that I really enjoy, because like you say, I'm a sucker for pain. I love working. So you can call me a workaholic. Even up to now, with kids and all that, I'm like all out for anything that is out there. But it's something that I've also picked up, I would say, definitely from Leaderonomics. Thank you for guiding us and like for still being there for us, to always remembering us as well, despite us out for a while now, doing our own things with kids. Thank you for always journeying with us. I mean, that's really amazing. Like, I really appreciate the relationship that we've had as well. So yeah, that's some for me.
And one advice you would like to give our viewers in terms of career growth, career development, one quick piece of advice.
Well, I always believe in this. Well, in uni, we are paid to, no, we have to pay to learn, but at work, we are being paid to learn. So I always believe have them. If not, you might miss that window, and then you might regret it later. So yes, go all out. Unleash your potential, and yeah. Are we still in? It's trouble connecting. Are we still in? Did you get that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Did you get that?
So
Earlier?
Jermaine,
Yeah.
yes. Go ahead.
Okay.
So Jermaine, tell us a bit about one prank that happened to you that you still remember now.
So being a newbie in the company, over before we leave, we would be asked to do something, and I remembered being humiliated, I would say, at the curve, where we have to go around dressing up as I was dressed up as a devil, with this whole dressing up all in red, pretty much like this right now, all in red. But can you imagine going around sitting on the kiddie toy and parading with by the cars in the middle of the concourse? I think that was really embarrassing, but it was fun at the same time. Thank you for that.
No, so thanks, Jermaine. I really appreciate your time. But one of the things we do, I think part of the ecosystem was we do a lot of pranks, and there's a YouTube channel called Live at Leaderonomics where we share some of our pranks. One of the earliest pranks, I think this was 2010 after the World Cup in South Africa, is this prank that we did with the vuvuzela. So let's watch. All right, again, Jermaine, thanks so much for joining us. I'm gonna jump to our next person, and I'm gonna bring in a couple folks. I'm gonna bring actually Nadia and Aaron to join us in a bit. Nadia, welcome to our show. Nadia, where is Nadia?
Hello.
Nadia, how are you?
I'm good.
Good to see you.
Thank you for having me. Good to see you as well.
What's your greatest memory of Leaderonomics?
Wow. There's so many to choose from. But it's definitely the people there. I am happy to say that up until now I'm still best friends with some of the people that I actually met from Leaderonomics. So shout out to Majura and Haima. So actually after I left Leaderonomics, Haima and I become housemates for a while. So that was really really good, and also our team as well. So it's the people there, the support, the flexibility, the empowerment. And I think what I really really appreciate is that how I am able to do a lot of things, not just limited to my job scope, but then a lot of trust was given to me in conducting a lot of projects, that is actually quite important to Leaderonomics.
And your most scary or most horrendous experience that you had?
Most scary ones. Definitely when I was during my farewell. That was quite scary because it is it's quite a culture, right, for us to do pranks for people who's leaving us. So, and I was at that time was the head of engagements for a while, and I was conducting a lot of pranks for new joiners and those who's leaving us, and also birthdays. So then when it comes to my farewell, I was like super scared of like the things that they're preparing in order for to humiliate me and like making very memorable. Yeah.
And we're going to talk a little bit about campus teams, but we see a couple of people shout out. Ahmad Hartana says good job to me. Why is that? I don't understand. Apa khabar semua from Pravin Nair? For those of you who remember Pravin Nair, the great Petronas man,
Yes.
and there's a hi from Naveen and Sashi K7 says great to finally meet the person behind so many of our videos. I'm not sure what that means, but hello superstar Sashi. Okay, so those are some comments that are coming in. I'm gonna bring in the man. I don't know if you know this guy. Do you know this guy called Aaron Tang? Nadia, was Aaron around when you were around?
Yes. And of course, he's our influencers on Twitter as well.
Hi Nadia, hi Roshan.
Okay.
So yesterday we found out that one of our employees actually holds the world record for deadlifting or something like that, in the world, So Aaron, tell us what record you hold, or what great achievement you have had.
I'm pretty sure I don't hold any records. I don't know, maybe falling asleep fastest, that might be something I'm good at, but no weightlifting records or anything like that.
And tell us a bit about campus, right? Because both of you are from the campus team, right? What do you guys do when you were in Leaderonomics?
Yeah, we basically were trying to run leadership programs for this very unique age, which is the, you kind of have the kids, and then you have the teenagers, and then you have this sort of awkward age between the university students and then who are going to the adulthood world. So we were really targeting this particular demographic, and I think it was up to today is perhaps the most rewarding work of my career, and it was really fun and meaningful work that we did.
Okay,
Yeah, if
and Aaron, go ahead, Nadia.
Well, I guess it's also for us to bridge, right? What is the gap between, I would say, the students who are studying and also what the companies are looking for, because our education level really emphasize more on the educations. So it's such a great work that we put in the skills and also the competencies that we felt that what the companies are looking for in terms of like critical thinking, leadership, communications, and all that. Yeah. So truly rewarding. Yeah. It's a great experience.
I'm going to ask you. I mean, just to make it, Aaron, you're leading Luno as the country head, and you're in Soka and you in Unilever. I mean, you were a bunch of places, right, Nadia? How has your Leaderonomics experience, to both of you, how has that shaped who you are today?
Yeah, Nadia, you want to go first?
I guess Leaderonomics really prepare me for doing great works and coming up with different frameworks. I think one thing that I really learned from Leaderonomics that I can just easily apply definitely when it comes to design thinking, designing frameworks, because we do everything from scratch. While you go into corporate companies and they already have some agencies or some training companies or providers that be able to come up with the framework. But then because of I still remember very well, I still use it on a monthly basis, your ADDIE framework that you taught me, Roshan. When it comes to it just even as simple as conducting a presentations, who are the target audience I'm looking at, and what kind of objectives and what kind of things that I want to impact and adding on values for my audience as well. Yeah.
Fantastic. And Aaron?
Yeah, for me, it was the emphasis on culture. So not just within the Leaderonomics culture, but also when we were running programs for external companies, when we were running programs externally, there was always the focus on your success is very reliant on the culture that you built within the company. And then since I've moved on from Leaderonomics, I've joined a startup, and then that emphasis on culture has continued in everything that I do. We want to make sure that it's a very healthy, conducive working environment, and also fun, which is something that I learned. And I think we've been very successful, and I will definitely say I owe a big debt of gratitude to you guys for instilling that values in me.
But okay, Aaron, you're interesting, right? Because when you joined us, you were from a big MNC, in the oil and gas. You're like a superstar, running a P&L, and then you joined us to help us to sort of create and evolve a business unit that we were struggling with in the campus at that point in time, right? And then now you go to a startup. Tell us your evolution of big company coming to small company like Lyramix, and then going even smaller to a startup that that is really completely different spaces and industries, right?
Yeah, so I think my personal philosophy has always been that whatever experience you have, whatever knowledge you have, it is never wasted, right? You can apply things that you learn from different industries to other industries. It's not going to be easy, definitely. It's going to be hard, but it's definitely something that's possible. And the other thing is, I've always believed that you want to you want to be working on things that bring the most benefit, that based on whatever abilities you have, bring the most benefit at that point of time. So it doesn't matter if you spend 10 years working in oil and gas, and if you realize that your time is up and you want to make an impact in something else, then I think that you should go and do it, because that's probably where you'll be most effective at.
Fantastic. I'm going to close. We got a couple more guests, but we will bring you all guys at the end, hopefully, if you guys are still around. But Nadia and Aaron, your final advice to people out there. You started relatively young, and you've kind of grown. You all are still young. I of course I'm the youngest of them of you all, but but your final piece of advice to anyone, to some the people who are watching out at this point in time.
Tough one. Okay. I would say somewhat related to what I've mentioned earlier. You always want to be constantly reflecting on what your own capabilities are and what kind of benefits that you can bring to the community, to the world. And I think if you go through that constant cycle of evaluating and figuring out what value you bring, you will end up having a very meaningful and also a very fun career.
Fantastic. And Nadia?
So I guess from my learning, going through different phases in startups and in corporates and then now back in startup, I definitely would say always look for, what is your purpose. It can be quite an abstract to look for. However, if you really understand on the big why of your doing things, it doesn't matter which organizations you're on, which roles that you are having right now. But if you have a very strong why and you constantly try to add on values to what you're doing, you truly will be happy, and you will fully feel like everything that you do is meaningful and nothing to regret on. Yeah.
Fantastic. Nadia, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for your time. Hopefully we'll catch a little bit more of you in a bit. And Aaron, same here. Thank you so much. I got a ton of Aaron jokes, but maybe it's not probably the most appropriate time to do that. But in the meantime, we've got people. Dato Gopinath says hi to all of you. I don't know if you know him, Aaron. You can say hi back if you want. And so, I'm gonna just take, one of the things that we do quite differently, I think, in Leaderonomics is that we have this media arm that does silly stuff, right? We record our employees and we do crazy stuff with our employees. I'm going to bring in a guy who acted in a lot of our skits. And I don't know whether he's embarrassed by some of the things he's done in the past. Aaron, were you ever in any of those skits that we acted in? The Be a Leader skits and stuff?
I think that was, I think my time was slightly after that, so probably not.
Were you ever involved in any of our production?
I think a few, but I cannot recall exactly which ones anymore.
Yeah. So we'll have to. So let me show a quick video of what we do on our TV side, and I'm going to bring in Vinesh Naidu, who's currently the head of HR for PwC, or the Human Capital for PwC. I'll get his title right one day, I know. But Aaron, thank you so much for your time. Welcome back. And if you haven't checked out Leaderonomics.com, it's a free resource center for all kinds of content. And Vinesh still has the beard, still looks older than me for whatever reason. I think he may be actually older than me. How's your football skills, Vinesh?
Very bad. Very bad, because the government has stopped us from playing. So Still hasn't improved lah. That's the question.
But some drastic improvement, at least on the club that you support. They actually won the Premier League finally. After all these years, right? So I'm sure that must bring some delight to you. Maybe not now, but at least a couple of months ago.
Yes,
you know,
yes. That sparked a lot of joy.
So Vinesh, you started out with, in fact, you were with us for many years, right? Part of our was it 2010, 2009,
Yes,
2010 when you
yes.
joined us?
2010.
Till about 2015, 14.
Yes. About 5 years. Yeah. I was
5 years
employee
there.
number. I think I was employee number 17.
Oh, still remember. Not too bad. So and you're a shareholder of Leaderonomics too, and now you're the head HR boss or whatever you call that. I don't know what your title is, but we'll get it right. I'm sure we'll put it up at some point in time, whatever your title is. But PwC has a tradition of hiring people from Leaderonomics. And we'll interview Lily and our team in a bit. But tell us your story and your Leaderonomics journey and what it has been to you.
Okay, so yes, you're right. Long period of time. Actually, 5 years is a fairly long. I think, especially in this day and age, I think 5 years is a very long time to stay in any organization. So I remember, when I joined, we were. I think you were just starting off the whole journey, and I was lucky enough to be part of that journey from the very start. And I think, like many of the others who shared prior to this, I also made many lifelong friends at that part of my career. Still very much close friends with many of them. And it was a lot of the learning was just learning, daily learning, learning day to day on trying to figure out from the basics, right? Running around and we're looking at the proposal and saying, okay, Roshan, how do we price this? And you would look at me and pull a number out of the air. And then I'll just go back to my desk, look at it and say, well, that's basically us doing charity. And then we'll have that big argument for the next 1 week or so and figuring out how do you run this business profitably. So that's one big part of it, right? Learning everything from scratch.
I think I've learned a little bit from that, so.
No, I think what was exciting also was I think learning the fact that people were willing to give genuine opportunities to people who were sincere, people who could talk about what is it that we were committed to, what is it we were passionate about, and for us very much was values driven, it was mission driven, it was wanting to make a difference by leadership development. And many organizations, I think when we spoke to them, they understood that is an area of growth that they all needed to undertake. And I think having us partner with them taught me the fact that we needed to be genuine in what we were doing. It needed us to believe in what we were doing. And then that comes across in the work that we did with the clients that we worked in at that point of time. But just as importantly, I think what was a big takeaway for me, and it's still something that I draw strength from, is the importance of, like Aaron mentioned earlier, I think the idea of having the right culture in place, living the right culture, making sure teamwork is at the forefront of everything that we do. I think whether you're a big team or a small team, and I'm, in an organization like when we started off Leaderonomics, very small organization, and we didn't have a choice, right? We all had to work day in, day out, and everybody just pulled our weight to do everything. And then an organization like where I am today and the other organizations I worked in prior to this, having teamwork at the core of what we're doing day to day is absolutely crucial to making sure we are trying to take those small steps as we try and grow. That's really a big part of the story that for me take away even until today.
And now it's a big role, a big challenging role to run the human capital organization at
you got it right. Wasn't that difficult?
So I learn. Ultimately, I'll get it, I may be a bit slow, but I'll get it. So Vinesh, I mean, what were some of the? I mean, when you look at the current role that you do, were there things that you learned that enable you to execute now in a better, more effective manner the role at PwC?
Yeah, it's something that I think about constantly. I think it's something that I need to think about constantly. I think among many other things, one key thing for me is the importance of putting people first. It probably sounds cliched, especially with the current pandemic and us looking out for people all day long. But anyway, whatever product, whatever services, whatever business you're trying to grow, I think if you're not genuinely putting your people first, whether it comes to policies, to your processes, to the way you manage people day to day, engaging them, it's going to be very difficult for you to do anything, achieve anything. I think you just need to connect with people sincerely, and that makes a difference. It'll take care of itself.
I'm going to ask you, what was your the kind of most embarrassing or the most ridiculous experience you had at Lyramix?
Okay, other than the constant arguments that we had, I think one thing that does stand out is in one of those pranks, I remember, that mama down in our old office,
Purnama or something, yeah.
Yes, Purnama. We actually did a prank where, or rather, I think I lost a bet or something, and you made me wash the glass. So it's actually washing the glass of the.
It's called community service.
Yes, of course.
I can't even remember, but sounds like something I might have done.
Because your question was what was embarrassing for me. So of course I remember, not what was embarrassing for you.
No, fantastic. I guess, we see a lot of comments coming from You Never Walk Alone, and all the Liverpool fans are excited. So maybe you can give them some advice in this time of grief, right? What sort of advice would you give people like Sashi, who is grieving a little bit,
Well, perseverance, I think it's important. Dedication and perseverance and commitment. No other team has suffered for 30 years. We win one season and then we are down in the dumps again. So, and we're still committed, still passionately supporting Liverpool. So I think that's important, right? It shows that we are persistent and committed.
There are clubs like Leeds United and Everton and all that are as sad case as Liverpool. So don't worry. There are clubs. Blackburn Rovers is even worse. I think getting relegated after and Newcastle and so on. I mean there are, but okay, never mind. We'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Looks like this Liverpool fan says Everton finally beat Liverpool. Thank God you're working from home. Okay, so that aside, we see a number of comments coming in. Hey, Badro, great to have you on the show. And if you have any questions for Vinesh or anybody else, feel free to jump in. This show is going to be a special show where we talk to our alumni, the people that have made Leaderonomics, and we're very appreciative of all of you, right? I think one of the things that sometimes we may not express fully is that. The Leaderonomics we see today is a very different Leaderonomics. We are very much more technology organization, but at the same time, the building blocks of what we are really transpired because of all the work that each and every one of you put together at some point in time. So we still enjoy and we always, I don't know whether you ever got this T-shirt, but today, if you ever leave the company, we give you a T-shirt and it says, "Once a Leaderonomer, always a Leaderonomer." And I don't know if you remember this saying, "Once a Leaderonomer, always a Leaderonomer," and we hold you to it, to some extent. So your final thoughts for today, before I get Ed, one of our old rock stars, he's literally a rock star. He might actually open his shirt and show his chest and start singing for us, but we'll wait for Ed to strut his stuff in a bit. But Vinesh, your final thoughts for today?
Yeah, well, all the best to Leaderonomics. I think we brought the organization to a long way, and then I think you guys have taken it to way higher than even you probably imagined, Roshan, all these years. And I think there's a lot of growth still to go. So all the very best with that, and I think just keep making the difference, lah.
Yep, and just to add on to Vinesh again, we are doing our Series A right now. It's and Vinesh is a shareholder, still remains one, and so there's a couple other employees. But we're doing a Series A. If you want to check out more details, you can go to the site, the URL below, or you go to Funnel and you'll be able to check it out on our ECF platform. So Vinesh, thank you so much for this. I'm going to get Ed to join us right now as we transition you back. I don't know, Vinesh, are you going to?
I should be with Vinesh together, actually, and talk about
Ed and I sat next to each other for a while before he decided to go out there and make a difference outside of Leaderonomics.
Vinesh, you are staff number 17. I'm like 15 or 14 lah, just before you.
So actually, it's quite a one Malaysia group because it was Ed, myself, and Andrew Lau.
Yes,
we were all seated right next to each other at that point of time.
Was it short, shortest? Or short, tall, taller, or I don't know how that works.
No, it was a Muhibah, Rakyat Muhibah. Nothing to do with height.
Andrew Lau used to say the dirty old man in the corner. But anyway, that's another story for you. So Vinesh, thanks so much.
Thank you.
You wanna Ed, you wanna ask Vinesh a question?
No, it's okay.
Yeah. Please, Roshan will ask the questions. I'll wait, Roshan. I can stay on for a while more.
Well, I
I'll
Okay,
need
wait
to
in the
get
Ed,
waiting
tell us,
room.
English one of these
Ed,
days.
tell us your story, because you created, actually you left Leaderonomics to create a spin-off from Leaderonomics, right?
Correct.
Social
Yeah.
market leader, right?
Yeah.
Talk to us about your story.
Yeah, so I met Roshan while he was doing interview at BFM, because I was the pioneer team at BFM at that time, and we had a lot of conversation. And at that time, Roshan is building the Leaderonomics Media. All the videos that you've seen on Leaderonomics Media was the things that I've helped build with a couple of the early teams in Leaderonomics. So at that time, we saw social media is just started to boom, and we saw an opportunity to spin off. So what I did was, and actually I have to thank Roshan a lot on this. As a mentor, he pushed me to start my own digital marketing agency. So I call my company called Social Media Leader, and I even used the logo of Leaderonomics. My logo at that time was almost similar to Leaderonomics, and even the tagline I used the science of social media or something like that. So I was really thankful, and of course Leaderonomics was my first client at that time, and I helped build the social media followers and fans for Leaderonomics, especially pushing the Leaderonomics live at Leaderonomics, the Leaderonomics show, and all those media stuff. And and I ran my agency for a couple of years, and I'm now I just returned back from the UK actually as a Chevening scholar. I did my MSc just recently in Glasgow during the COVID. So right now I'm currently running another startup as well. Toulouse Digital is a Islamic social fintech, and also the parent company as the founding CMO, Tuxuri, a location intelligence company. So, but I'm still within the media and digital marketing area. And for that reason, I have to thank Roshan for giving me the courage to actually, keep failing, and then and just be in the entrepreneurship ecosystem. And I've been back to Leaderonomics a few times as well during some alumni gathering. And I really enjoyed the banter that we've had over the years over there.
Ed, when you were there, right? I
Yeah.
think we were in this small, really
Yes.
ridiculous office with like a whole bunch of people, right? And
Yeah.
one of the things that's very interesting in 20, I think it was 13, where we moved into our new shack, right? And then at that
Yeah.
point in time, we were kind of nominated as the top 10 officers.
Yeah.
In I remember, we were Mind Valley, Google, and ourselves always fighting for top 10 places. But
Yeah.
in 2017, right? We were named as the top 10 most inspiring officers in Malaysia, and we were
Yeah.
number 8, right? We
Yeah.
were named number 8, and Google was number 9, right? And Nike was number 10, right? And when that happened, right, we were like, whoa, we cut Google and Nike and so it's very interesting, how everything sort of evolved. And one of
Yeah.
the reasons why we set up our office was because of media, right? We wanted our office to be a place to be able to shoot all kinds of videos, and be able to get our message out as much as possible. And I also want to ask you, right? Because you were part of the initial strategy of communicating our message, right? What were some of the biggest challenges in terms of communication, at least at that point in time?
I think because when you are a small outfit as a startup, people don't give a hoot about you. If you don't have you don't have enough budget to actually put it in the traditional media, especially in the mainstream media. But one of the things that the collaboration that we had with BFM actually helped build the brand for Leaderonomics, especially in the early stages. And I think creating that narrative, the story of starting with why, doing a lot of failures videos, and just experimenting with a lot of things early stage, especially showing all the prank videos that we've when I look back at that Vivuzela video, I just put tears in my eyes, because it's all those things, and creating that story. You've always start with the why and getting back to the purpose. and then you also introduce Leaderonomics as a social enterprise, the science of building leaders, the building blocks of leaders, and I still remember all those and creating that story, especially, and having that compelling enough, storyline. That was the biggest challenge at that time. But for us, it's all about just failing fast, failing cheap, right? So and I think we've accomplished that. And when I see back what Leaderonomics has achieved today, I'm really proud of the fact that I've been in the journey as well, and in the ecosystem.
Yeah, no, and it's been a 12-year journey. So it's a very interesting journey, and I'm gonna bring in our Tiff and Lily to join our conversation in a bit. Lily, I don't know whether you know Lily.
Yes,
were you ever?
Yes, I met Lily, but I mean, I've left already, but I've met Lily, and then we went. I remember when Lily was doing the Leaderonomics show with Bill Rancic. I was there, and I got to meet Bill Rancic and get his autograph. So I was really appreciative of that as well.
Lily,
post Leaderonomics, yeah.
And Lily, you got to meet Bill Rancic, but you also got to meet that crazy physicist, right? What's his name? Kaku or something.
Kaku. There was Bill Rancic. There's Lorraine Han. There were some really interesting guests we had on.
Yeah, and we met all the Ed. I don't know if you know, we actually met these famous YouTubers, Chester C, and remember, Lily, we had a whole bunch of these crazy YouTubers who were like, and I was very bald, still am, but it didn't quite this old man and a bunch of young guys talking very fast didn't quite jive. But Lily, you were part of the Lyramix team when we were at a point of you came in as a project person to basically do whatever I wanted to do, and whichever experiment that I thought was crazy enough for us to try, let's just do it, right? And one of the crazy
my role, when people ask me what did I do in Leaderonomics, is exactly how I described it. Whatever was in Roshan's head, we just had to do it.
Yeah, but I mean, it was very interesting, right? Because one experiment we did was, let's start a newspaper. And voila, 3 months later, we are running a weekly pull-out in the Star newspaper and actually build a business out of it.
I don't even think we had 3 months. I think we had like a 2-month runway or something. And by then we had to have 16 pages of content on a weekly basis. And it was just you and me, right? We actually built a team.
I think it was me and you, and then we had Eva and Prema and a few others join us when we realized that maybe it's not so easy for just the two of us to do it. But it's possible, right? You can actually start a pull-out. I mean, you can actually start a newspaper with 2 people, right? So there, we just proved it, right? And I think that experimentation, I enjoyed it because couple months later, I think we started the assessment business with another intern I had called Millie, where Millie and I, and she's also in PwC but in Singapore. But Millie, we kind of experimented on that, and then later Kathleen, another intern, took that to the next level. So Lily, tell us a bit about your and Ed, jump in if you've got any insights. But tell us, Lily, what has been one of your pivotal learning experiences in Leaderonomics, and also some of the most embarrassing ones that you've had.
Yeah, so Leaderonomics was at a very foundational part of my career, right? It was 2011 to 2015, my first job coming back to Malaysia. And Roshan, I really learned a lot working with you and the team. I think with you, even from the interview, right, it became apparent that I need to learn to run at your pace. Because your mind is thinking at 200 miles an hour, you've got ideas spouting all over the place. And so I think one key thing I learned was how to be agile, how to also dig deep into convictions. I think that's one thing I can say about Leaderonomics, right? You all are powered and you all are fueled by your convictions. And that conviction also then leads to courage to do a lot of things and to try new things. And that's something I really appreciated in the team. Culture, Vinesh, we mentioned that earlier, Aaron mentioned that earlier, that when we work together, it's more than just doing work together, right? It's about building relationships that go beyond just work transactions. That's something I really appreciated. And even all through the rest of the roles that I've been in, that's something that I have aspired to build.
And you were fortunate enough to be also part of our culture transformation project, right? If I am not mistaken, when we did our BE 100. No.
I think the tail end of my time, yes.
Okay. So sorry.
I might have been on maternity for some of it.
Okay, could be. So tell us, I'm going to bring Awatif in a bit to join our conversation, but tell us what has been, probably for you, something that really sticks out as an experience at Lyramix, whether it's one of the pranks or whether it's one of the learning insights or anything that you think has been really something that you never forget being in Lyramix.
So I think one thing that really stands out, right, I would go back to the newspaper experience. I think that for me is something that epitomizes the courage that Leaderonomics has. That, okay, here's an opportunity, and let's jump on it. Let's do it. What do we need to pull together? Let's just do it. I think that open-mindedness and this sense of let's do what we need to do to get things done. That's something I always have thought back fondly on. I think the other part was, I think the commitment to always give back to the community. With the youth work, university work as well, there was always the investment into lives and the content that you all put forward. It's always the sense of what can I give back to the community. And I remember something that you always say, right? In the articles you write, the videos you put out there, you always ask yourself, what is the gift right now that I'm giving to those who are watching? So those are a couple of things come to mind.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I see Awatif is excitedly wanting to join us. And, Lily, did you know Awatif?
Awatif and I were not in Leaderonomics at exactly the same time. Awatif, was there an slight overlap maybe?
I can't. I was there since 2015 to 2017.
Yeah, so maybe there was a slight overlap.
Joined. Something like that.
I see. But I remember I met you at one of the events when you were working with the international school. Yeah. So yes. I think that was like a brief account.
There you go. The small world. No, Awatif, you have a great story, right? I mean, you came in. You were part of the campus team, right?
Yeah. So I had quite an interesting journey with Leaderonomics. I started off actually as an intern in the youth team. That was in 2012 or 2013, I think. And then, and after that, I continued to graduate and I started my first job and so on. And in 2015, I think both Hui Ming and Andrew Lau approached me and asked if I would like to join the team. And I thought it was a great opportunity. And I joined Leaderonomics, working together with Andrew's team. After that, I think Andrew left, and then I had a change of boss, who was Rupa. Amazing, I would say, like one of the amazing person that I've ever worked with so far. And after that, there was a transition in the organization, and Aaron Tang just now was my next boss in Leaderonomics. So
basically, you're saying that you left because Aaron became your boss. So are you saying that you left because Aaron became your boss?
No, not at all. No, I think I left because I think that I probably would like to see him more as a friend, and then he's just too awesome as a person as a friend. So
see Aaron, the thing you do to women, I don't know, they just leave, Aaron. What do you do, man? Okay.
I was just kidding. Yeah.
I want to ask you, and Lily and Aaron, you can chime in. I'm going to bring in the rest slowly, and I'm going to bring our love doctor actually, who left us and then came back to join us, and now her goal in life is to marry everybody to each other in Leaderonomics. But I'll bring her in a bit. But Awatif, what stands out in your experience in Leaderonomics, and what can you take out from that experience?
Okay, I think being in a campus team itself was an interesting experience for me overall. So at first, when I think basically I just wanted to highlight that the change of bosses had gone in a way that I didn't expect it to be. So for example, when Andrew said that he was leaving, I thought I thought it was more like a negative or a bad thing. But I think things just got better after that. I got to work with Rupa, I got to work with Aaron, and the team also changed. We had people come and go. So Ali and Nadia were in campus team, and then I had a brief work accountant with them. So I think despite of people going in and out and all the changes, it actually enriched my experience in Leaderonomics. And these are the people that, even though we've left the organization, but we are still friends, you know. So I think that's an amazing experience to summarize in Leaderonomics. The relationships that I managed to get in the end. Yeah.
Yep. I'm gonna add our love doctor in Sweat. Because you mentioned Sweat just now, and I noticed a couple others are on. So I'm gonna just bring everybody back in as we wrap this up in a second. Sweat, you left Leaderonomics, and you decided to desert it, but you came back, right? As did Audrey Tong and as did many others that left and came back to the fold. Tell us a bit about why you're back.
Hi everyone, I'm Svet. not a love doctor like what Roshan said, but yes, I'm back because I think last year, before the pandemic hit us, right? I mean, there was quite an interesting year. I think it's just understanding the scope of work. So like Awatif mentioned, I was part of campus team back in 2014, 2015, but coming back as, managing the people and culture department in Leaderonomics definitely is a step up, and also it gives me so much more empowerment to run how we are doing things internally. And we have been dishing out a lot of good programs and learning journeys to so many clients and also to our alumni. Thank you so much for those who have connected us with your current companies. So I just thought, hey, why not, come back? And I've always been very drawn to our vision, our purpose, the whole ecosystem, where I know sometimes people refer to us as just another training or development company, but the truth is we always have our hearts with the youth, with the community, things that, people might not teach in the schools. We try to fill in the gaps, the leadership skills, the social skills. And also now we have a very exciting new journey where we come up with digital platforms. So it's really like an end-to-end solution company, end-to-end, and some, Roshan might even say we're a dating agency. But yeah, it's just every day, listening to all the alumni share. I wrote down points about what they have shared, the pranks, courage to fail, doing what Roshan say, all these are, I would say every other day is very different. There's no one day that is the same to any of us. Yeah, and like coming to this show, some of you were contacted quite last minute. So thank you so much for even making time to come back and to share some of the things that you have done or you have learned in this journey of yours.
So I'm just gonna and Sweat, I think you should talk a little bit about the couples in Leaderonomics, right? And that we've married quite a few people, right? Our first one I think was I can't remember, but
Yasir.
Marriage, is it?
Yeah,
definitely the first one.
Nisa,
Yeah.
yes.
Although I know you mean
And then
married that
Marcus and Amira.
Huh? And then we've got Moose and not Moose, Mok and Shira, and our latest is a couple more on the works.
Kat and Ben. I don't know if there's a couple more on the works, but again, it's not a written on our. It's not on our website that we are, also, because one of our values is also building communities of love. So you may have an opportunity to find love when you join us, but it's not guaranteed. But we are very happy when people do find love, besides finding for life purpose and their job fulfillment here in Leaderonomics. So yes, definitely one of the best companies to be in.
And Shai, you want to do a shout out? She just wrote a book published on dating and love, and I'll give you a we also publish books at Leaderonomics, right? So
this is just one of the reasons why I agreed to come on the show. So yes, I have recently published a book. It's called To All the Single Ladies. So I went to grab this book while I was on the break just now. But yeah, I mean, just it's really a testament that while I was working with Leaderonomics last year, I have the flexibility to manage my own time. And this is not a secret project. Roshan and Hui Ming, they're both aware that I was in the midst of writing a book. But again, it's just a testament that in Leaderonomics, whether it's your side hustle, your main hustle, we have very supportive network of people and connections. Like if you ask Roshan, he can go to a speed dial and you have like 10 people who might be interested to buy my books, hint, hint. So yeah, he's just, a master connector, and very glad to hear, so many people referring to some of his, Roshan, your teachings and some of the lessons that still ingrained in their minds up till today. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
Wants to clarify, Sweat, you didn't help him find his second wife. So, oops.
Oh, okay.
I think that's in the work, right? Okay, I'm just going to go around, just go around and get your final thoughts, right? I mean, if you want to leave with one message that you think is very pertinent for people to know, whether it's about an insight that you gain at Leaderonomics, or whether it's an experience, or whether it's just about Leaderonomics, or whether it's to encourage people to join us, or you do know we are to all the single ladies. You want to buy the book? That's the URL down there. There, Sweat. We're doing a shout out for you. I thought this was supposed to be a shout out for our Leaderonomics Series A, but never mind. We will shout out for everybody. But if you want to continue to be part of the Lyramix family, even if you're not an employee or you're an alumni, you can always be part of our family by investing in us, because we're going live, and our plan is to IPO within the next 5 years. So we'll be one of the few social enterprises that's gonna go gangbusters around the world. So take that opportunity to do that. But I'm going to go around the room. I'm going to start with Lily, because she's the nearest on the screen to us. Just 20 seconds, 30 seconds, your quick final thoughts for us. What is it that made the most impact, and why if you would still support Leaderonomics, or you wouldn't? I mean, either way is fine. What your thoughts are on Leaderonomics and the family? Remember, once a Leaderonomer, always a Leaderonomer. You always be part of the Leaderonomics family, and we will. I wouldn't say never walk alone, but you might walk alone, but you know that you always have the Leaderonomics family there to be part.
That's already ingrained in the once you're a Leaderonomer or a Leaderonomer, it's always you'll never walk alone, right, Vinesh?
And Sweat, looks like you already have a buyer for your book. Proloy is wanting to share your URL for your book all across LinkedIn and all others. Okay, but he's like, please, for goodness sake, share the URL live. So I'll get Sashi, our producer, to share both the URL for our Series A and also for Sweat's book on live. So Sweat's book is already there. Go check it out on Facebook or in LinkedIn or in YouTube. Now, Lily, sorry, we are digressing and digressing. This is what I'm bad at. Okay, go ahead, Lily, and I'll keep shut.
Yeah, I think I go back to something actually I remember talking to Eric about when I first joined Leaderonomics, and what I was saying was, it's great to be able to find a role where our capabilities align with our belief. And I think when I think about Leaderonomics, it's something that really comes to mind. It's people who are equipped with skills, but at the same time, you all have very strong beliefs and convictions in what you want to do and achieve, with all the values, building communities of love and transforming the nation. So I guess that's the thought that I continue to take along with me. And if there's anybody who's watching who's looking for great career opportunities, I'm sure you can connect with Sweat and Roshan and see what's available at Leaderonomics.
Very good, Lily. Awatif?
Okay, I think that being in Leaderonomics, I definitely put different perspectives of what I want to do in life, and at the same time putting in terms of priorities. So like, I think whether it's Ed or Vinesh mentioned just now, it's like people at the core of the things that we do. So I think that when it comes to any task or any work, I think the human touch or the personal relationship, the relationships will come first before the task itself. And in Leaderonomics, that's what I learned.
Okay, thank you so much, Awatif. Mr. Tang or Mr. Luno.
Yeah, thanks. So just thinking back about my experience, I think one thing that sticks with me is how positive and the people were at Leaderonomics. And I think in today's society and age, it's very easy, or it's very convenient, almost fashionable to be cynical about things, to be negative about things. But I think, well, the work that we've done is a testament that, you can work on positive things, you can work on ambitious projects to help people, and it can still work out, even though it's hard. But yeah, it can work out.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much optimism. Don't we have such a great government in place? Snicker. Okay, and that aside, and we've got some exciting progress. But Aaron recently hit 10,000 followers on Twitter on Mr. Stingy. See, Aaron, we're doing a call out for you. So now he'll have 11,000 thanks to this show. You know, so with that, you know, follow Aaron, Mr. Stingy 2014. Sweat, your 20 seconds of fame.
I didn't know it would come back to me because I thought I hogged all the fame. But yes, thank you so much for, you know, I think coming back and also hearing Lily kind of, you know, be the ambassador and say, please join us. So thank you so much. I think nothing much to really add on because all these amazing testimonials and sharing from the alumni, it's really made this session very productive. In fact, you know, Roshan, when you started that show last week, right, you were just thinking of the themes for the days and we might make this a regular show. So yeah, just again, really thankful for people for the past, present, and the future. So yes, I guess I have to do the shout out of, if you love to join us, it's people@leaderonomics.com. To send your CVs and your profiles. Matchmaking optional, but we can try. Thank you.
Roshan, you muted. Roshan,
I can't hear Roshan.
You muted, bro, boss.
Oh.
Okay, I think Roshan is still muted, but I think let's move on to maybe Jermaine. Jermaine, 30 seconds of last shout out.
Okay, I guess everyone has mentioned it. Apart from what we did at Leaderonomics, with, you know, getting what we need to do on a daily basis, the one thing that I've learned from Leaderonomics is that when I get to work, I didn't feel like I was working. It was very fun. It was a really great environment to be in. If you're young and you want to, you know, do something crazy, join Leaderonomics. You have crazy bosses, crazy tasks, crazy culture, crazy stuff every day to do. You never get bored. Every day is a new adventure. So yeah, contact Sweats and Roshan.
Okay, I think, you know, if you know, I happy to have people join us, but, you know, love to hear your sort of the most memorable insight also. So Ed, you know, you were our early day pioneer, and then we'll get to Nadia and Nilesh in a second. Quick comments, Ed.
Yeah, I think like I want to have a call to action. If you want to be the first to join a public listed social enterprise, you know, invest in the Series A, of course. And I mean, I learned a lot on social entrepreneurship from you. And I want to do a shout out a bit on, because right now I'm the head of communications for a Chamber of Social Entrepreneur Malaysia, it's CSED Malaysia. So, and if you want to know about how to fail fast, you know, fail cheap, and, you know, and embrace failure, you know, this is the place to be. And this is where I learned a lot, especially in my early days as an entrepreneur. Especially as a social entrepreneur. So yeah, and that is one of the things that, you know, I will always take back, and my key learnings from Leaderonomics. Yeah.
Well, thanks, Ed, and appreciate the shout out. I mean, we are trying to be one of those organizations that's really scaled across the world. You know, so we opened up in India, Thailand, and so on. But really looking forward to this journey of getting to a point of becoming one of the few social enterprises that are publicly listed. So thanks for the shout out, and check out what Ed is doing. And Sweat, by the way, just an FYI, Sweat shared her email also, so in case people need to find handsome young men looking for love, you know, you can check email Sweat. But Sweat shared, Proloy has shared your book across his 15,000 network. So there you go.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So
Thank you for the support.
Nadia, your final take.
All right. I guess, you know, when you work in a company like Leaderonomics, you really understand the power of the community around you. You know, like development does not takes only one person, but it really takes the people around you. And I think that's what I really appreciate when I was in Leaderonomics, like how everyone around me really supported me. And that was something that I brought along, you know, when I go to other companies, and then consistently think like, how can I also support and developing others? And at the end of the day, you know, be able to influence that kind of culture that you want to cultivate in the companies itself. Because, you know, it takes a community to build a leaders, right? Yeah, that's my.
Thanks so much, and Vinesh, to cap this off, the final take from the bearded man.
So relationships matter. I think that's most important. So shout out to, you know, Smarty Pints, you know who you are. And I think that's one great thing about an organization like Leaderonomics, where, echoing what Nadia said as well, I think friends, people you've grown together with, journeyed together with, and stayed friends for the longest time. And that's most important, I think, as a takeaway.
So guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate your being here and sharing a few of your nuggets of wisdom. We'll be back we will be taking a break tomorrow, so we'll be back on Thursday talking to customers of Leaderonomics. So that's going to be exciting, where we talk to a couple of customers. Guys, thank you so much. We will cap it off today by closing the session. See you on Thursday, 6 p.m. Goodbye. Have a great week ahead.